Now that we understand the geography of the interface, let's take a look at the audio signal flow. Now, the audio signal flow is the pathway that the audio takes through the soft synth or plugin. And like most of Logic's soft synths and plugins, the audio flows from left to right. And as you know from our geography lesson, it begins here with the audio sources, the oscillators. These are our raw materials that then get passed into the filter and overdrive section where they start to get shaped. You know, some of the rough edges come off, so to speak. And then the audio passes to output processing and the output section. It's really quite simple. And then off to the channel strip. Okay, so now let's talk about some of the particular things that happen along the way in the synthesizer section. First of all, there are 3 sound sources, or 3 oscillators, and they're grouped together right here. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. Oscillator number 1 is on. You can tell by its green on-off switch. And it also has a waveform and modulation selector and a tuning control all the way over here on the left. Oscillator 3 is laid out exactly the same. It has its on-off switch. It's off now. You can see the difference. It has its waveform and modulation selector and its tuning control. Oscillator number 2 is laid out just a little differently. It's because it's sandwiched in between 1 and 3. And though it looks a little different, it is the same thing, right? You can see the on-off switch, the tuning control, waveform selector. It's all there. Now, all 3 of these, or any combination of the 3, is what flows into this next section, which is called the mixing triangle. This is a graphical mixer, and each one of the points of the triangle is referenced to one of the oscillators. Here's 1 for oscillator 1. There's a point for oscillator 2 and 3. Now, as you drag the point off of the end of the triangle, you can mix between all 3 oscillators, and you can place that point anywhere within the boundaries of the triangle to create a mix. It works really great. I found this confusing at first, but when I realized what it was doing, wow, you know what? I was blown away. So the trick is, as you move closer to the point, you're going to hear more of the oscillator or sound source that enters at that point of the triangle. And as you move in between the points, well, you get a mix of all 3. So after they're mixed, then the output of the triangle moves into the drive, overdrive, and filter section. Now, this is a really complicated filter that can be configured in many, many different ways, and we'll talk about all of that in a future chapter. Now, from the filter, the sound passes into the output section, where we have volume controls, we have some distortion, and we have some output processing. But it flows through this section in a very particular manner. It first passes through the distortion circuitry. Then, from the distortion circuitry, you can tell it's distorted by my squiggly line, it passes through the processing, the chorus, the flanger, and the phaser, right? And then it goes to the volume control and ultimately out to the channel strip. So that's the ES2's audio signal flow. And now that you understand that, I guarantee you, you're going to become a better ES2 programmer. See ya.